What is up, everybody? This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. And in this video, I'm doing a channel supporter requested video. It is on the X Plus Rocket Pro Guiron. And request for some, I hope I get this right, E.L. Zilla Kaiju Madness Man. And he asked me to kind of look at this figure, so I thought I'd give it a look. And we will bring that figure forth now. It's Guiron from 1969, Scamera versus Guiron. Alright, everybody, I'm back, and here it is. This is the X Plus Rocket Pro Guiron, 25 centimeters in scale, from the crazy zany movie Scamera versus Guiron. Real quickly on the movie, it's just a goofy, crazy Showa era Gamera film for sure. Kid friendly and all that, but this kaiju basically is on the planet Terra and is the guard dog for two beautiful female alien cannibals that live there, and they're trying to me they're trying to get to Earth and try to take over the Earth. So they send a spaceship to Earth, two little boys get on it and go, and they remotely control it back toward their planet Terra, and then Gamera's in flight following them and basically trying to stop them, I think, and but the spaceship outruns him. It gets there, the boys get off there, start exploring, and then a space Gauss shows up, which is the same as the Showa Gauss, except for it's different in color. And then the two ladies control Guiron. They release Guiron, and he battles the space Gauss and brutally kills space Gauss, and chops him up with his big main weapon here, the big knife on his head. And then he does that sinister laugh, which I love. It's great. Then Gamera finally shows up on the planet, and the boys have figured out that the two aliens are trying to eat them. They're cannibals. And Gamera fights Guiron in the first fight, and Guiron has these shurikens in this indent in his knife, and he shoots Gamera in the arms and legs with it, and he goes into like this water type substance. I don't know what it is. It's pinkish in color, and he's at the bottom of that like ocean type thing, and he manages to get the shurikens out and recover a little bit. Then when he reemerges, him and Guiron have their final battle, and Gamera does finally defeat Guiron. He flies him up into the air and then sticks him in the ground vertically like that. And then the two little boys have found these rockets that are weapons on the planet, and they shoot one, and it hits the headquarters and kills the last remaining female alien. The other one had been killed earlier by the other alien because she was wounded and she was weak. So weakness is looked at as a bad thing on that planet, apparently. So it was down to the one remaining alien, and the rocket kills her, and then Gamera takes another rocket and throws it through this indent in Guiron's blade, and then he blows his fire on it and blows it up, and when it blows up, it blows Guiron in half, and half of his body flies up in the air, and it's pretty gruesome, pretty crazy movie, but it's a fun movie, definitely child-oriented as far as the Gamera Showa era concerned. From the movie previous to this, Viras, to the end of the Showa Gamera movies, they're very child-heavy, friendly. Gauss, 1967, is slightly on a lower level, the start of it, but from Viras on, they're very child-friendly. As far as this figure goes, it's a nicely done figure. Like I said, it's Rocket Pro X Plus, and from what I gathered, there's two versions of this, and in the X Plus group, I posted a picture of this, and I wanted to thank Alan Carter because he mentioned that there was an X Plus version, and he posted a picture of it, and the difference is the X Plus version is not on its knees, it's stretched out, and his feet are turned down to touch the ground. And that's the big difference that I've seen in the two. And I don't know if the X Plus version has articulation or not. This one does. You can move its front legs, but if you do that, he falls over. But it does have that articulation option, but I pretty much leave it where it's supposed to be. And it's a pretty nice figure, but I guess Rocket Pro was a subsidiary subsidiary of X Plus, and they used them to create some figures. This came out in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. They did several figures like that in that era. So, but this figure isn't too bad. His body color pretty much is a greenish, darkish greenish color, and these brown, goldish brown highlights, bronzish highlights on him. His legs are nice and thick. In the movie, he is bipedal a couple times, and he also does some big high jumps. So I figured he has to have some strong legs for that. Then on the back of his lower legs are these brownish, goldish, bronzish colored fins that stick out, and on the side of either side of his body are some brownish, goldish colored skin, raised skin, I guess is the best way to define it. And that runs on either side, kind of like tiger stripes almost, on the other side of his body and even down his front legs. Then he has a row of back spikes on his back that look pretty cool. He's got a brown hump on the back of his head. His front legs are nice and thick looking. Nice sculpting of the skin on this figure for its age, not too bad. The claws on the front, there are 4 claws on his front legs, 3 claws on his back. They're brownish in color. Of course, his head, the main draw is the big, huge knife head that he has. I always wondered if the Pacific Rim Kaiju knife head took some... the designers had an admiration for Guiron, because obviously the similarity there with the knife head's pretty cool. But it's a big, huge knife. Silver at the blade part. Then on the inner, back here toward the back of the blade part, there is his green skin texture that is triangular shaped all the way down on either side of the blade. It's got nice skin texturing, sculpting on that green area where his skin is. Of course, the round indent on either side of the blade holds his shurikens that he used as a weapon against Gamera and other foes in the film. So it's pretty cool. He would shoot those out, and he would just get them by like telepathy or something. It was crazy in the movie. As far as his face, he does have a derpy look on his face. If you look at him head on, he has that show of derpiness for sure. His inside of his mouth is white with pinkish red colors. Teeth are individually sculpted on the bottom and lower and upper jaws. 2 big canines on either side at the back of the lower jaw. It's pretty nicely done. His eyes are yellow, a yellowish color with some like reddish bloodshot type, looks like to me, in the eye. And then his pupil is straight black. It's a pretty nicely done little figure. And it's a pretty unique kaiju. I wish they would do this in 30 centimeter. Be pretty cool, especially if they went today now with their sculpting advances and their advances in detail and quality. I think they would really pull this guy off rather well. Also, the underneath of his belly is silver in color, silverish in color, and that's how it was in the film. Looks pretty cool. All right, I think I'll do some size comparisons now, and let's start with those right away. All right, everybody, here's 2 size comparisons, 25 centimeter crawlers. The newly released Guiron monochrome figure for X Plus, and a soft version of the 25 centimeter crawling Hydra. So as you can see, he is pretty in scale with the 25 centimeter lineup, in my opinion. Looks pretty cool. All right, let's move on to another size comparison right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. Here is the Heisei Gauss 25 centimeter scaling with my X Plus Rocket Pro Guiron. Looks pretty good, I must say. All right, let's do some more size comparisons right now. Okay, I've got my X Plus Gamera 1996 25 centimeter this looks like pretty good scaling. Of course, the Heisei cameras were real forward leaners in my opinion, and you'll see in my next comparison that this is a true 25 because the next one is a 30 centimeter. So, but as far as scaling, they look pretty good here. All right, we'll move on to our final size comparison right now. All right, everybody, here's my 30 centimeter Gamera 1967. Now this is the 25 centimeter Guiron, so you can see that he is smallish for this camera, which makes sense because they are in two different scales. So, but I always, when I look at this together, I think of, man, if this was 30 centimeter with today's sculpting standards and details, it would be really cool to have see that. All right, we'll move on to some final thoughts on Guiron right now. All right, everybody, I'm back. This is a pretty cool little figure for its age. Like I said, I believe it came out in 2003. And it's pretty admirable to the suit in the movie. I just feel that if one was done today, I wish it would be a 30 centimeter. It could almost be the same pose, really. I'd be fine with it. Just 30 centimeter. And with today's sculpting and X Plus's attention to details today, it would probably be a very, 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 very accurately done and nicely done rendition of Guiron. But this one is pretty cool, I must say. I will bring the camera closer here momentarily for a close-up of this guy. I want to thank everybody for your time and attention and supporting this channel. This is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati, and you all have a very blessed day.